Hey Jeejo, do you know what is a visual hierarchy?
Why the fuck do I need to know about visual hierarchy?
Bro, see, it's a common thing. See, I have gone through a lot of process and I have interviewed a lot of users and I feel this is good for them and I am here with some good designs. Okay. But you, being a developer, just ruined my whole design, whole theory. Like I have spent some 6 months in the research process and I have brought those screen up. But what you did, you just come with a simple answer. It's like, this is not technically feasible.
Yeah,
What
that's
the
all.
fuck, huh?
See, bro,
What the fuck? I'm just
you
asking.
are like
Yeah.
thinkers. We are the creators. You think what we need to create, but we actually, the creators, need to figure out whether we can actually create it or not.
Bro, we give an innovative solution. Okay.
Okay.
It's like, it's not about creator thinker or thinker creator. It's not about that. Okay. I have created my layout so that my users will feel very comfortable using that app. Okay. So you being a developer, what you should do is you have to come up with some solution. This is how I can implement this. You can't be like, I can't implement
See,
this.
you are missing a point. I am not just a developer. I am also a customer. So I'm also talking from a user perspective. Like, no, this is not good.
It's not about that. You just want to reduce your workload. Okay. So you say it's like it will take some 6 months for this. So it's for now it's technically it's not possible. So in sprint 1 we can do this. Maybe in sprint 2 we can try to implement that. What is this, yaar? Huh? But being a designer, what I have done is like I have empathized every user's mind thought. I was sitting with them. You don't know. I was interviewing everyone. It's like, see, bro, this is how the flow goes. Do you feel something? What do you feel? It's hard to get some word from an user, You know or what?
Whatever you get.
But you
See,
guys.
you prepare a design. Yes, as you mentioned, you just empathize with the user. You get all the information, everything. But when you prepare a design, all you need is a tool to bring the design to life. But for us, to bring the
Yeah.
design to life as a developer, we need to put a lot of efforts in. So, if you're preparing a design, let's say if you're preparing a design, because for you, the pre-process will take a lot of time. Before starting the
Yeah.
work, you spend a lot of time figuring out what needs to be done at the place. But once you figure out everything, you know, okay, this is the layout, so this is how the design is gonna be. Then the next step in the research will be much less for you when compared to the previous stage. But for us developers, everything is tough because once you give the design, if the design itself is a complicated one, first we need to figure out like how the hell this design can be implemented. And that is another thing. When the client come, the client will say like take any time you want, for gathering the requirements, for coming up with the best design. But once the design is ready, the product needs to be up and running within 3 months. How the fuck for design itself they'll take like 6 months, but the product should be up and running within the next 3 months. And the client will be saying like,
Yeah, you should.
the client will be saying like, you have the design now, you just have the design. So just bring the design to life. Even to make a baby and for the baby to be born, it takes 9 months. You are asking a developer.
That 9 months, I will take care of. Okay. You don't have to worry also about that. We just want to dress you up the kid and to give some memory for that kid so that the kid will work actively in the environment. Yeah, that's it. We just want you to bring
here is the
functionality
thing.
stuff.
Do you
That's
want
it.
a bright kid or you just want a kid who will be in the mental hospital? Don't you want the kid to be actively doing stuff? Don't you want the kid to run? Don't you want the kid to actually look good? Don't you want the kid to actually think?
Yeah.
So to do all these things, it will take time. But the other difficulty here is when a complicated design comes, ahead of all these issues, the design also become an issue. Because for example, if let's say we are going to build a product like YouTube, So there are a lot of things as a developer, I need to figure out to build a product like YouTube. Then as a designer, you'll come in with some design like animation, rocket growing
Bro.
here, sky coming down.
No, not just about that. We are here with some business peoples, you know. This is how we are gonna bring some business. This is how we are gonna grow in 2023 financially. We are gonna create some creator economy so that we'll get lot of engagement in here. But we just want you to create that stuff. That's it. It's not about like I'm just coming with some random layouts and I'm asking you. I'm coming with some perfect layout, neat
Yeah,
layout.
if you are coming with a layout for a product which is gonna get, let's leave millions, thousands of users on the day we launch a product, then it's fine. Okay, it's a complicated design, but still it's the best design for the users. So we need that. So this is the first time you're gonna launch a product. You have no users, no one. So you have done some research, you have come up with a design which you think is the right design because you got some feedback. But we can't be 100%. Just think, if the websites which you are seeing nowadays, like Google, Facebook, YouTube, if they thought the design which they came up at that time is the right design for their users, they wouldn't even have to update all these because they know the users will change, their perspective will change.
Yeah.
So they need to keep on updating. So that is what we are trying to say as developers. Why the fuck we need to come up with the best design on the first time when we are trying to come up with the prototype, the first model of the product. Because first we need a basic prototype, right? With a basic prototype, with a basic model. But the client doesn't understand that. When we say like no.
No, I'm just want to clear this out. Okay. I just want to know for me first. Is that really hard to code what we have designed? Or it's something like you don't get that time to code? What is the main core problem here?
See, it depends upon the product we are trying to build. Okay, so if the product has a lot of complicated features, okay, at the utmost it comes to the features we are gonna have in that application. If the features are something which previous applications in the competitive market doesn't have, so if you're trying to bring such kind of features in, then as a developer there will be a lot of research work in our side. We need to figure out like how the fuck we are gonna bring such kind of feature in this particular product. So while doing all these research, even then we'll be not sure like whether actually is this possible, because this is not something which is done already. So only while we are doing, we can figure out like whether this will work or this will not work. Because as a developer, every time we need to learn a new skill while developing a product. As a designer, you work more and more on the user's feedback and your own creative designs. But as a developer, we can't work on our own intelligence. Even if we know 10 things on the new product we're working on, we need to learn another 3 new things to develop the product. So when the hectic thing between the developers and designer happen is, if the product is easy to build, then whatever design the designer gave, the developer will be fine, like it's fine, because the core feature of the product is relatively easier. So whatever design you come up with, so it's easier for me to develop. But when the core feature or the core idea of the product is tough, then when a designer comes up with some crazy shit designs, we know it's a good design. When you're looking, it looks amazing, it's good, but there is a lot of things which we already need to bring into this product. But when a designer comes up with some crazy designs, because I've seen something where when you open the page opens like something in a game where a door opens.
Yeah, those are some how do I say, some interactions, some storytelling way. We have read a lot of books. Yeah, see, everything is a story here, right?
Yeah.
we just come. Yeah, so we just want to.
When you drag and drop, it will be just a way of storytelling. When you need to write 1,000 lines of code to bring in the door opening and closing, then you will understand the difficulty.
That's your job.
That is what I'm trying to say. When the core product which you're trying to build is relatively easier, then this work won't seem much. But when the core idea of the product is tough, because we need to spend a lot of time over there. Because if we have the every interface and if the application doesn't work, then it's just like a baby being born dead. The baby is born successfully, but the baby is not breathing. Yeah,
Working. Yeah, it's
yeah.
not working.
The same way, like if you have an application, it just whatever you design. If I just develop that, but the application doesn't work, so that is the same like that. So first, the application needs to work. So in developer, let me give you an example. In a developer perspective, what we think is the application looking good or not? It's fine. Is the application working the best for the user? It's not. It's fine. If the application is working the best way it should work, that's all we care about. At the end of the day, that's the first thing we care about, because
Okay, so you care about functionalities.
we care
That's it.
about,
It's not about look.
yeah,
It's not
we
about
don't show
anything. It's all about
racism.
functionality.
We don't show racism like you guys do. We don't show partiality.
We are not an racist or something. Okay, we want everyone to feel that sweet of that product. That's it. Yeah. See, when we go with some random MVP to my investor or wherever or whatever, yeah, they'll be like, what is the unique selling point, USP of this product? Then I should be sitting with the business team and I should be creating some new creative stuff so that my investor get convinced and he invests in that product. So it's your job to do that. That's
See,
it.
let me
This
give
is
you
my
let me give
theory.
you a same example. You
Okay.
let's say in a real time example. Let's say you are having a 100-meter race tomorrow, okay? And the person who is conducting that competition says like you can bring any person in the competition to run for you. Okay, so let's say you're bringing in Usain Bolt. Okay, and I am saying like I will run by myself. Okay, in your side you're bringing in Usain Bolt, but on the day the competition is being right to happen, Usain Bolt can't run. But you have already given the names. Usain Bolt will be run. So the Usain Bolt without legs is so much poor with the Anton versus Jeejo who can even walk with the legs. So that is the difference. Even with all the attributes and all the facilities, if the application doesn't work the way it should work, then everything kinds of falls apart. Like nothing matters.
Yeah, that is fine. That is fine. Okay, that is fine. But we are in an ideation stage. Okay, designers work at ideation
Yeah.
stage. This is how we can innovate things. This is how, see, what if in earlier days it was like a room full of computers. Then a designer like me sit along with the founder or maybe who made that computer, and we were like shrinking all those stuff, and then it was like, now I can carry my laptop so that I can work from anywhere. Who did this? Designer, right? So we are in that ideation
See,
stage.
that is what I'm saying.
Right.
The ideation of a designer being a more part, that is depends upon the complete, as you mentioned. You have like previously you have like 10 computers working together, but right now we have one because the designer came up with an idea to make everything.
Yeah.
That's fine. But when we are developing a website for a gym, why the hell we need a dumbbell being thrown up? When we open the website, the loading animation where dumbbell will be thrown up and it will be dropping down and the website will be opening like this, and suddenly a person comes in front and like, why the hell?
Yeah, that's a creative way of doing it. See, what is the thought process behind that? Okay, so when we go to gym, when we hit gym very hard, okay, I'll be carrying my dumbbells and I'll be like putting my bench press or maybe curls, whatever, for my biceps, okay, or maybe chest press, bench press for my chest. When I drop that, then we are here to help you. This is how it works.
Yeah, but
That is the story being built.
the problem here is if you are building a product for such a kind of big gym with all the facilities, then it's fine. But if you're trying to build a product even with the
Yeah,
same
I know.
facilities, but if just now the gym is being open and you're trying to bring all these things, that is what I'm asking. It's just the MVP. This is the first time you're launching a product for this company. Then why the hell we need this just such a complicated? I think this is where the developers come in with this particular statement like this design can't be implemented. So you please go back, do some changes with the design. Just make it, a little bit feasible. Just make it a little bit, efficient. Just some, throwing some random terms, random English terms inside that and saying like, just to make you feel like, no, this design can't be developed, which is a false statement because any design can be developed. That is the actual truth. It's just that when
Yeah.
when a developer says like, no, this design is not feasible, this design is not efficient, this is not gonna work, When a developer says like that, it's just that he is not
So that's a
interested
lie.
to develop that particular design.
But you are getting paid for it.
Yeah, we are getting paid for the amount of time we spend on developing the product. But the client doesn't understand that. The client thinks like, if you can develop this big feature, so you already have a design. Why is it difficult for you just to implement that design? But the problem here is implementing a feature is completely different from implementing a design.
Okay.
So it almost take equal amount of time. So if I say to a client, like I took almost, let's say 2 weeks to develop a feature where you can scan your facial feature just to recognize whether it's you or not. That's a big feature. So if I say to a client that it takes 2 weeks, the client can understand. On the other hand, if you give me some complicated design with some crazy shit animations in the opening page, and I took 2 weeks to develop a home page, and I come up with a client and say like, what you're doing all these 2 weeks, and I say like, I developed this complete home page, he'll be throwing stones at me. Bro, are you crazy?
No, it's not about that. If you shown him some polished product, it's fine. But you are throwing shit at him, then he will obviously.
That is what I'm saying. When I'm showing him a feature, like as I mentioned, so if I say like I take 2 weeks for that, he will understand it. But when I say like the design which you give me, I develop this, just a single home page, not the entire product's design, just a home page design which you have done, but it take 2 weeks, then you will be thinking like, how come it will take, you take 2 weeks for developing such a big feature, then how come you're taking the same amount of time for developing the same design? So you're not a good developer. You don't know how to do the development stuff exactly. What he doesn't understand is, designer just pulls stuff from everywhere, just drag and drop, just places things wherever he needs it. Developer needs to write code each and every line. To bring a box, he needs to write 20 lines of code.
It's all about creativity. Okay, something can't be created new. It can be built new. That's it. For example, in World War times, it was bun. Okay, so people started slicing that bun and added some creams or some fruits, and then they were selling it. And then what happened suddenly with that flavor? They just added some fruits, some flavors, and then they baked. That is plum cake, right? And then people came up with some fresh cream, and then they were selling some birthday cakes. And then that cream replaced by fresh cream. And then today, ice cream cakes. This is how design evolves. It's not about like you are just dragging, dropping. This is the thought process.
Yeah,
This is which we had in our mind.
This is the problem, Entra. Say, you start your work. Because when you say to a client like I need to do all this research and everything, that is completely considered as a separate time. Then once you start the design work, that is only when the client actually thinks you have started your work, like you have actually started working on the design. Until that, the client knows you're doing some research, so you'll be doing everything beforehand. But for a developer, from the time he starts the work, that is where his work starts. So once you give me a design, even I start today, it will take 2 weeks. But just because a designer finished the design within a day, a developer can't finish the same design within a day. It takes time. It depends upon the design. Whatever the design you give, depends upon the design, the time is gonna extend. So what happens is...
Okay, so you were saying like client is the only problem. It's not about with the developer or designer. The client is the major problem. The timeline is the major issue you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Or what? Okay, the timeline is the major issue.
The client is the major issue.
We should not fight. Okay, we should not fight. We have to fight with the client.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, it seems
because
okay.
See,
so you're not getting that timeline, right? You're not
that is
getting
what
that
I'm
time
trying to say.
Develop something.
Because when a developer says like I can't develop this because he is having time. But the problem is when the project needs to be done within 3 months, he doesn't have enough time to create that the complicated design.
Okay.
So what happens is, if he accepts the designer's design, like it can be developed, so he'll be taking the risk. He'll be taking the developer's risk, designer's risk upon himself, because he knows if he take that complicated design, the product can't be developed within 3 months. So before even starting the work, you'll say to the client directly that the design the designer came up with is worst, it's shit, it's not good, it's not will work if we develop the product. So ask the
This
designer.
is not good. You can't say this. Okay. We are some aesthetics gurus. Okay.
We don't care.
We know how a hierarchy should work.
That's what I'm.
It can be
see,
like
that's what I'm
strict
trying to
design.
say. We
Yeah.
don't care about those shits. You do whatever you do, but because if we take the work, because if we agreed like
Yeah, you can't take responsibility for that, you're
because
saying.
whatever
Then
work
who
you
will
done
take?
is really good. But the problem here is if we say like yeah we can develop this, then the client, because the client has already given us a timeline. He says like once you start the work, say how long it's gonna take for you to finish, because we have not seen your design yet. So the client will be saying like, no, the design won't be much complicated. The design will be just like this. And then when you give some crazy designs, the client will be of course impressed. So he of course want the design to be developed, but he also want the same design to be developed within the 3 months period of time, which won't happen.
Okay, so how much time you want?
That depends
Jeejo?
upon the design, but the client don't agree upon that. Because see why
Okay.
I'm saying this is because if I say like no this design will take lot of time, then the client thinks like that you won't be able to handle that entire project. So instead of taking the blame upon us like it will take lot of time, we put the blame upon you.
You think you are smartly playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just think you are smartly playing and you blame
Yeah.
me. And I will be blaming you. See, I have created some good design, but you are developed for
Yeah. Instead
Yeah.
of getting the blame from you and the client, from the first itself we'll say this design is not good. So they will also say this particular statement. Even if we develop this design, it might not come good. But you shouldn't complain us because this is a designer's problem, not our problem.
Oh, you just safely.
Yeah. So because see,
Okay, so you're saying like life of a designer is easy and life of a developer is hard. You're saying something like that or what?
it depends upon the kind of situation you're pushed into. Let's say for an example, there are two examples. So if you come up with a complicated design and I am a noob developer who doesn't have idea about anything, and I just just with that excitement and curiosity I just say yes I can develop this project within 3 months, then I can't, then the client will be pushing pins upon me. You are the one who gave up this word now. Right now you're going back on your word. So he'll be putting all the, and you designer will also be backing him, saying like, oh the developer can't come up with this design. I think you should change your developer. That is the problem. You should come up with a good. So at first itself we'll come up with a safe idea. So you'll be saying like, see this is a complicated design. So when I'm saying like when a developer
that
says
he
this,
can't blame
yeah,
me.
so the designer's life will become miserable.
Yeah, you want all the layout to be changed to some fucking layout
Yeah.
so that you can develop easily.
Yes.
Not the product will be
Yeah.
good. It's all about
See,
you can.
let
your
me
life
give
will
you
be
a
easy.
client's idea. The client idea is until he sees a design, so whatever the first design you shows him, most of the times he'll feel good, but he still always want a little bit changes to make it look even better. So that is what always client expects. So once you give the best design to him, then he'll come up with a design to the developer, and if the developer says, no, this can't be done. This is this is like some crazy designs and it's going to take a lot of time. So here two things can happen. One, the client will fire the developer and hire a new developer who can develop the design. That is one thing. So that is one thing which can backfire to the developer itself. The other thing is the client will go back to the designer and say like, no, this design doesn't look good. We need to make this a little bit user friendly, something like that.
No, he can't be like it doesn't look good. He will be like, my developer can't develop it, so please reduce the amount
amount
work
of
and
designs
give
you
it."
have done just to make sure
Yeah.
it still looks good, but at the same time it's also easy to develop.
Yeah, so that your life will be easy and my
Yeah,
life
so
will be
as I
hard.
told, there are like two different paths. So anything can happen,
Okay.
and that is completely dependent upon the client. If the client is so strong in his decision making, then what the best thing he can do is he can fire the developer and hire a new developer who can agree upon the time limit and agree upon the work which you are actually giving him. That this is the design. Whether can you take up this work and finish within 3 months? Then you need to find the right kind of developer. That is one thing.
Okay, you have to pay him good.
Yeah. You have to pay him good. At the same time, you have to give him enough amount of time.
Okay.
Because as I already
So
told,
how much a developer earns? How much a developer earns?
it depends upon the designer.
I just want to know how much you make per hour. That's it. Per hour. You will charge something to your client.
Yeah.
How much will be that? Yeah.
Low starting from $10, which is like 800 rupees.
Okay.
It might go
Uh-huh.
up to like 150 to 220 per hour.
$220 per
Yeah.
hour. Yeah. How much that will cost?
Which is
$220.
like 18,000.
18,000 per
Yeah.
hour. What the fuck, bro?
So you see, when I'm saying this,
Uh,
this is not the amount which I am earning. So don't think like, oh my god, this dude is making
Yeah,
like
yeah.
18,000 per hour. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say is that's a maximum experienced person. You know, maybe a guy with 8-10 years experience who is working upon a product just makes if mostly a freelancer I'm talking about here. If he's taking upon a work, he charges like 150 around that area. Mostly these kinds of amounts will be charged by the developers who are in the western states, western countries, like people from UK, US, because for them
Okay.
the cost of living is high. Because for them, when I say
Yeah.
like $220, it's just that they can tackle maximum like 2 to 3 days. But if we have 18,000 in people in India are just hanging with the 80,000 even per month. So the cost of living is also different. So that's a case. But when we are saying like on an average, a developer in India per hour, if he's a good, established developer with the right kind of experience, he can make from like $50 to $70 if he has the right, as I already mentioned, like 7-8 years experience from that. But as a fresher, if you're
Okay.
starting up, it's mostly around that 800 to 1,500 rupees around that range.
Yeah, that is some basic critics will have.
Generally, what a
Okay,
person
so-
per month, 80 to 85,000 per month, that kind of salary range is what a basic stuff.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah,
much a
okay.
designer makes?
So who earns more? A designer makes like average starts from same $10, and then it can go up to $100 and $150. That's it. But the major core here is like, see, for a designer, there won't be some repetitive works, right? Once the website is done, that's it. We don't have much work to do on it. Once the brand guideline is set, that is set. That's it. You can't go there and rework based upon the client feedback or something. But in developers' point of view, you have functionality stuff, right? What if that goes down? What if website goes down? What if app goes down? What if the button is not working? Lot of things like that. So the timeline and the contract will be very large for you guys. But for the designers, it won't be like that. It's like for 1 year you will work with that client, and then that's it. Like you won't have any conversation or anything. If only he wants some version 2.1, then he will be contacting you if you are a good designer or someone. That's it. Yeah. So this is what I think makes some difference between designer and
Yeah,
developer.
see, let me give
if you
you
are working in a company.
yeah, so let me give you a clear example.
Yeah.
As you mentioned this thing where a designer doesn't get a work again and again for the same client
Yeah.
most repetitively. He might get if the client needs some
Yeah.
rebranding stuffs like that. Until otherwise, as a designer, won't get to work on the same product. Let me give you an example. It's
Yeah.
like
But if he's an graphic designer or something, then he will get some repetitive works like
yeah,
email campaigns,
that
Google
more
ads.
it's like
That's
you are
it. That is-
preparing a lot of designs, poster kind of stuff. So you'll be having
Yeah,
repetitive
yeah.
works. But if you're working on a product kind of design, so it's just the once a
Product,
product is done,
yeah.
the work is almost done.
That's
Yeah,
it
yeah,
done.
yeah.
Yeah. But if the company is that much large with some large capital, then they will be putting some money in research, where a designer comes in and he'll be testing all the users, the product, and then affinity mapping, user testing. That goes into some whole different story. But for freelancing, 6 months, this product, you will get 80,000 or something, whatever. Yeah. This is how it goes. 1 lakh for a product, 5 lakh product for a product, 10 lakh for a big,
See,
big,
let
big,
me
big,
give you an
big
example.
1000
A
screen
role of a
product.
designer is like making a baby. Once you make a baby, once
Yeah.
you deliver the baby, your
That's
work
it.
is done. Whereas the work or role of a developer is like a guardian, like a doctor, who
Yeah.
makes sure that the baby is grown in the right way and the baby is, actively functioning in every way. Like, he's eating properly, he's taking care of him properly. So that is what the role of a developer is. He just keeps on.
Yeah, for 5 years.
That
For
is what
5 years.
until the
Yeah.
product can grow on itself. Like as we mentioned, like a child can actually take care by itself. In our case, it's like 18 plus.
Yeah.
Whereas in a
Yeah.
website or in an app case, basically it's like 3 to 5 years. Once a product can take care of itself,
Yeah,
they won't.
no, it can bring
Yeah.
money into the company. Yeah, this is how it works. So when money comes in, then they will hire a designer so that their website should be like they should have some clear UX. It's like clear UX, on point UX.
Yeah,
they
that is
want,
why they are
and the-
paying you money
the UI
now.
should be clean. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
so true. But yeah, I'm saying we are true to our work. Okay, we don't blame stuff.
See, you just
We
shouldn't.
don't blame someone.
You just shouldn't be, true to your work. You also need to be clear to the client, like how long will it take for the developers to develop the design? Because we will come up with it.
Yeah, so you want me to convince the client? It's like so if you are working with me, okay, Ranjith and Anton Jeejo is from same side of team, then I'll be like, see, to develop this feature it will take at least 6 months. I will state that. But if you're from some other fucking company, why should I support you?
See, this is where the problem happens. So you are also not ready to support
Yeah.
the developer. The developer is also not ready to support you. So what happens?
Not ready to support
So
me.
at the end of the
Yeah.
day, the client decision comes as the final one. If the client decides to go with your design and fire the developer, then the developer gets backfired. But if the client agrees
Yeah.
with the developer and asks you to do some changes to your design, then the best design which you produce will get compromised just because the developer asked you to do some
That
changes.
is some very hard part. Yeah, it's not about designer developer, but when I see my 8 months of work to be a shit, it hits differently. I'm just laughing, but it's really hard to see something like that because I've spent a lot of time in my research. I've spent a lot of time with my users to build that product good. But for some fucking timeline, that is those all features being compromised, it's very hard. Because like I was expecting something great than what I thought, but it's like it's lesser than what I thought and it's shit.
See, that is what I'm trying to say.
Here
already,
comes the
right?
problem.
Like,
Yeah.
If we are trying to make a Usain Bolt, we don't care if the
Yeah.
hand, whether the hand of the Usain Bolt is not working as properly as his leg. What he cares is he not looking good? Whether is his nose broken? Whether he can't speak well? Is he running properly? Whether the major functionality which is needed to win a 100, is those things working properly? If that is fine, then only we come to the design part. Actually thinking, is design really a matter for it? If
Oh, so you're saying like after building all those functionality stuff, you can actually work on all those front end UIs and improve your design. You're saying something like that or what?
Yeah, so that is what I already tried to say, because we focus more on the functionality. Because if we come
Okay,
to
then
the
what if, then what if I say something like this? So when I am doing some UX, okay, some basic black and white boxy screens, I'll be sitting with all the developers and I will be like, this is the functionality that we are going to bring. I'll be stating you something like that. Okay. So I want all my users to get some reward points being, so the user should track all those goals. So if his step count is more than 1,000 per day, then I want to reward them. So this is some basic UX level thing which is finalized. Okay. I'm just going to change that to UI. So what if in that time, I will come to you and I will be like, this is the flow I wanted it, and then this is the functionality I want the app to have. So will you get that time?
I'll simply say,
work.
whatever you're trying to make us will make the website slow. So this can't be done in this website. So just the client agrees with us, saying like if the website or the app is gonna slow, if the product is not gonna achieve its hierarchy, achieve its level, it should work. Then what's the hell with all these design, all these things, because it should work first, the way it should work.
Oh, so some hotspots so that you can eliminate your work.
Absolutely.
So the client here, just here, this, these guys are telling just to reduce their work stress. That's it.
Yeah, because as I already told, that if I tell the
Yes.
client like, no, this can't be done, the first thing that comes to the client mind is, that means the developer is not capable enough to be doing this. So again,
Okay, he's judging you, you're saying.
and if I say like it can't be done within this enough time, then again he will think like, okay, he know to do it, but he's not that much good enough to do this within the short amount of time. Then again he will judge us. So to escape out of these two things, the better answer for this is, we can blame the kind of UX, the kind of design you're coming up with. We can say, of course, this design is implementable. We can implement this design. We can come up with the exact UX the designers come up with. But the website will slow down. Certain features will, not work the exact way. The click might take an additional second. The drag may take an extra second. The entire website will look a little bit drunk and stuck.
That you guys to figure out. That you guys to
Yeah.
figure out. You have to
Yeah,
have
that
some
is what I'm saying. We
extent
have
of
already
definition.
figured it out.
Yeah.
We have already figured it out. That is because
But you didn't even attempted to do that.
see,
But you were saying
if we
you will
attempt
make
to
your
do
website
all
slow.
the, that is the exact, because the client will come up with the same thing. Like the client will say, why you are saying like this even before trying it. Then again I will be giving him an example. Okay, then fine, I will try this. But then if it doesn't look good, then you shouldn't ask me. So the
Oh, so you want no responsibilities, right? You don't want any fucking responsibilities.
yeah, because I am already saying like this won't work. If I am trying to do this, this won't work. So even after saying this, if the client pushes me, then the problem is with the client, because I already stated it. Like if I do this, definitely the application is going to break at some point of time. So this is at your own risk. This is not at my own risk. You are backing the designer. You are backing the design. So if I do this, it might break. So what you can come up with?
Okay.
What is the counter statement you can come up with?
I think I can stop designing some cool things. Yeah, but I won't do that because I am true to my
Heart.
passion
True to my heart.
or heart. Yeah, true to my users so that they will be more comfortable using my app. Yeah, but what I can do is like I can sit with my client and I will be like, see, this is the new feature that we are gonna add in this product. Okay, this might take some long timeline to get developed, even if the developers are getting paid pocket full of money. It's gonna take long time, but if you have this feature in your app, then this gonna bring you great returns. I'll just end up with that statement so that he can earn, then he will be pushing.
See, this is where
You like,
this is
go,
yeah.
work for
this
it.
is where
Work
the
for it.
client will be in two kinds of state. First, if the client has enough amount of time, the first thing is he won't be pushing as along the way. When I say like it will take lot of time, if I push it, it's definitely not going to work. Then from me itself, as a developer, the client will be saying to me itself like, it's fine, you take the time. Only because the client doesn't have time, because the client needs the product within like 1 year, and you guys have already taken like 3 months of doing all the research and all the stuffs, which till date I don't understand. Because I know whatever design you come up with, if it's not implementable, once we say to the client, see, this design is really, because this is how we start. We say this design is really great. this is a good design, but if
This is not implementable.
no, this
What
is
the fuck?
implementable. This is implementable, but
Uh,
there are two factors. One, if we implement such a kind of design in our website, it's definitely going to slow down. That is one thing for sure. And second thing, so if you want to make sure like our website,
is that really happening? Like, will make your website slow down or something?
for certain stuffs, not everywhere, for certain areas,
Yeah, but you will use it
yeah.
everywhere.
Like as I told now, like we'll saying the client, like there are two cases. So whether we can make this, we can implement this, but it might not work and it will also make the website slow. That is one thing. And the other thing is we can make the website also slow. Website speed along with the same design, but it will take so long time just to implement this feature alone. So the client who wants this product to be ready within a year, where you designers have already spent like lot of time, so you don't again want the developers to spend the same amount of time. So what he will do is he will think again like this: the designer has already spent like 6 months to come up with the design.
Mhm.
So he has already taken the responsibility. So let us push him back, because we have already started paying him. We have not started paying the developer yet. So let us start pushing him again, because we have already started paying him. Let us push him to come up with the a little bit easier design. So because the client mindset will be, first let us launch the product. So that is the first goal, because
Okay.
if within a year, if you want to launch a product, definitely you need to make few compromises here and there. You can't always come up with the,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
if you want to come up with the best design, the best product, you need to spend at least like 2-3 years to launch a product, because you need to be doing all those planning beforehand. Then only, if you are planning for like 6 months and then the next 1 year you want to come up with a product, definitely you can't do with the best design, with the best features available. So you need to compromise somewhere. So the client, most of the times, not I won't say every client, because I have worked with few clients where I know the design, the problem here is the design is actually shit. If the design is cool, then it's fine. The design is actually shit. Even it's easily implementable, the design is shit, but the developer,
The city.
yeah, but the client backs the designer more than the developer. So the client says it's fine. It's fine.
Because like we speak about money stuffs.
Yeah, because the client thinks like, yeah.
The product will
So
bring.
that is what
to
I'm
him.
trying to say.
Yeah.
Not every client will think the same way. Most of the clients first want their product to be launched in the market and users to be starting using it. So even it's like 10 to 100 users, let them start using it. In the meantime, we'll see what's the user feedback, whatever the users are feeling. Then we can ask the designer to, to make the certain changes, and then we can, because if you are waiting to even launch our first, model of the product, then the users are not gonna wait for our product. If in the certain time, if another product launches in the same competitive market, they're gonna use that product first. So the client always think in certain way, like, okay, fine, if there is gonna be certain compromises, because the client knows that whatever the developer.
Yeah. So what do you think? Like before fundraising, you should not develop a product or what?
See, before fundraising, you shouldn't develop a full-fledged product.
Okay, it should be MVP or something.
It
That's
should be looking good, but it should be not awesome. So that is the difference.
Okay.
Making it look good.
Yeah, you don't need that marketing stuffs like product things like Christmas sale.
You don't need
Christmas
that,
themed
user
app.
attraction stuffs in the product which you're gonna, initial stages, you don't need that. But the designers, they don't,
You just need that functionality.
designers never
thing.
do that, because they always, as you mentioned, I will be right to my work. I will give only the good designs, because I can't give a bad design. If I give a design, it will be only
Yeah,
good.
so that they will judge me. He's a poor or fucking designer. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So you were saying like, to conclude everything, you were saying like designers should understand the perspective of the product. So initial stage of the product should be something work related stuff, and then it should be somewhat simple, so that all the functionalities can be implemented in the first
See.
go. And then you have to try to improve the UI, bring in some product stuffs, bringing some Christmas sale stuffs, whatever. You're saying something
In
like that.
simple terms, the designer should keep his ego aside and just do what is needed for the initial stage of the product. He shouldn't be thinking like, no,
Okay.
I am a designer. I will always come up with the best and the best possible design for the user, because if you come up with this thing, once the funding is done, once there is a lot of enough time to get the product, to the best state, then it's fine. But before even knowing whether this product is going to work or not, even at that stage, you're spending a lot of time on doing research and design. And if the product doesn't work well with the user, then all the work which you've done is also a waste of time.
Waste of time. Yeah, true. That is completely true.
But
Yeah.
as I mentioned, when a designer designs a product, he always think this product is going to work. Because the design...
Yeah, definitely. Because those are creative stuffs. You guys don't know, okay? So when we start creating it, we got that excitement to do something. This is how it's gonna work. We have to splash the screen out and we have to bring our product.
See, that is what
we
I'm
have
saying.
to break all those
A
monotony.
designer,
Yeah,
you spend
understood,
more
yeah.
time on doing research rather than doing the design, because only if you do all the research, then only you can actually start working on the design. So that is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you will be more excited on creating the design, because you'll be seeing actually, okay, this is how the screen is going to look like. This is how it's going to be. But you'll be working on it for a very short period of time. But as a developer, we'll be seeing the same set of screen for like 6 to 8 months. So at the starting of 2 months, we'll also be so excited. Oh God, this product is going to look good. But after 4 months, it will be coming down. After 6 months, it will be coming so down. And after 8 months, you'll be thinking like, this product is never going to work. The users are not going to like this product. Because we developers are the ones who are actually creating the product. So once the final outcome comes...
Yeah, you're adding that functionality stuff.
So once we see the design with the functionality, we can actually feel what the users will feel. And then we can come to a conclusion whether is this amount of design needed for such a feature, whether the design can be so cool and the feature can be so, very little bit feature. Very little feature. You don't need such a kind of amazing design for that.
It's an average feature.
So average feature.
Yeah, we need average design for average feature. We need some cool design for
You don't need
feature.
an extraordinary design for each and every aspect. But a designer always tries to come up with an extraordinary design so that his work always stands out as a designer.
So you were saying like we should be friends so that we can give a better product or something?
So we should be in the mutual understanding. Okay, so...
So you have to travel with me along in my user journey. Whatever the feedback I collect, you should be along with me so that
even
this is the functionality stuff.
So you should be, first as you mentioned, you should be doing all those research and stuff. But before starting the UX or the UI, so first as you start the UX, you need to come, once you have develop few UX stuffs, so you need to discuss with the developer and ask like whether these things are possible. Or because when you're starting with the UX, you can always come up with 2-3 different iterations. Because that's possible at that time. But once you finish that and once you come up with the design, then it's tough for you. So once you're starting with the UX, then at that time itself, you should discuss with the developer, making sure like whether these things are possible to do. Because if he says no, then okay, these things are a little bit tough. Then let us change it a little bit different way, but still it's good. Yeah,
for now, for sprint 1, we'll do like this, and then we can extend that project to sprint 2 so that I can earn and you can earn. That's it.
So if you see...
So guys, if you work closely, the developer can drag you.
So if you see the overall problem,
he can earn and
I can earn. The overall problem is with the designer.
It's not with the designer. It's with the developer.
It's with the designer because he's not discussing while developing. See, I don't need to discuss with the designer while developing a product, because all I can say is, see, all I can say is this can't be developed.
You have to.
All I can say is this can't be developed. So please change this design.
You're blaming me. You're blaming us. Okay. You can't blame us something for no reason.
See, that is the power of the developer.
So finally. It's not like having power or something, okay? You are just misleading the client.
Because we want to make sure whatever work assigned to us are done so that we don't get into trouble. So we point the fingers at you so you can get into the trouble. See that.
This is
see,
not the right way of
This is
doing
why I mentioned. So why we are pointing the finger at you is because you have not discussed with us while you are starting the UX work. That is where all the problem starts.
Oh, I see. Okay, it's fine. Yeah. So today we have a great conclusion. So after UX is done, you just send some screenshots and then explain developers some stuff. This is the amount of work you'll be having, you'll be receiving.
Just
after,
discuss
UI
whether you're
or
designer,
visual-
developer.
yeah.
Just discuss like whether this can be done in this exact way or is it needs to be done a little. So
Yeah.
that in the UX state itself, if you make the changes, then the UI will also come along the same way. Then it will be looking good.
Yeah, that's it.
So the problem
Yeah,
is
okay. So for
the
this,
problem here is
for this
miscommunication
post-print.
and lack of communication.
Yeah,
and lack of
miscommunication.
communication.
Yeah. Yes, definitely yes. Yeah, you can't actually discuss with the
Yeah.
client for all the time because like client is not gonna develop. He will just throw out the money. That's it. But your co-friend developer will be sitting in that product for long nights to develop all those to get some recognitions from the client or something. Yeah, it's very hard.
It's really hard, bro. It's really hard.
So please, guys, I know designers can communicate better because we are communicating with the client and then with the users and then with developers from now. So it's fine. Okay. So in all the fields, miscommunication is
And also lack of
the
communication.
miscommunication and lack of
Not
it's like
not
communication
communicating
skills.
enough.
You have to speak up. Yeah, you have to speak up and you have to show up like this is the thought process I have and this is how the product has to grow. That's it. You have to just let them know so that they'll be sitting on that product and they'll be researching on GitHub, wherever they'll be like, okay, this feature can be implemented, but it will take some time. Is that fine? We both will go to the client and we'll ask, and he'll be like, no, I have only 3 months. Then we'll be coming back, we'll be sitting, we have to just sync all those UX things and we have to build for that synced UI. Synced UX. Yeah, that's it. This works, right? Yeah. Just miscommunication. This is how a relationship.
See, even for a healthy relationship, you need to have proper communication.
A good communication. Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
This is the end of the video. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much. Signing off.
And Jeejo. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye bye. Take care.